Okay, so addendum to the previous video. I realised that what I said was complete rubbish, and had I thought about it and the battery not gone flat, I would have corrected in the previous video, so that I might well edit these two videos together and reload. Okay, so nuts undone. This is now ready to be removed. What I should have remembered is that these nuts don't need to be removed. You can actually leave them where they are. I'm removing them because I want to clean these threads up completely and make a choice about which ones of these I keep or whether I just buy new ones and replace. So I'm taking all the nuts off, but you don't need to. The only ones you need to take off are these. So unwind them that way so that they come onto that smaller part of the pipe, and unwind, knock these off. Now, at both ends of these, I had to get a cold chisel onto these and just hammer them, turn it one turn, hammer, turn one turn, until it actually freed off. And the same at this end. This one, I actually needed to heat this nut to free it off because it's quite rusted. You can see these threads here are quite rusty. They don't look that rusty, but in actual on the screen here, but they are actually quite rusty. And the threads are in pretty poor condition because they're full of rust. So to remove the suspension cylinders, what you need to do then is to unwind these nuts in this way, so inwards, freeing off the bump stop in both ends. So again, here are freed off. Now at the front, the one with the slot in, you move the rubber gaiter out the way, just pull this tube free out of here. These won't actually drop off, of course, because they have the rod through them, but that is now free, and you can remove the rod, just move it out of the way, through there. So that is now free. What you'll need to do is the same at this end. So it's a bit easier with two hands. Just pull this free. Now, in theory, you might get this off now by pulling it through one by one, but the easiest thing is, since I'm doing it anyway, is to remove these. Now, in theory, you should measure how much thread there is here before you remove them, so that when you put the car back together, it's at the same ride height, except that this was never on. This chassis and these tie rods were never on a Lomax, so I'm going to have to set the ride height anyway, so I'm just taking them off, and we'll replace them and check and adjust once I've got the car rebuilt. Now, to do this, there is a flat on here on this tie rod. It takes a 10mm spanner, and you just need to shove something through there and unwind. These again can rust on, which is why one of them has got a completely stripped thread. You can buy a little sort of tool that slips onto here. It's like a big nut, and you can then use a 22mm spanner instead of a wimpy little 10mm. But if these have been lubricated in the past, they should unwind. Mostly they unwind. I've always used a 10mm spanner. I've never actually needed one of those special tools. Famous last words. I'll probably need to go and buy one next time I try it. Okay, I'm just going to take this track rod end off. I don't know if it's actually a knife. I'm not quite sure what it's called, to be honest. I can't remember. So I'm just going to take this off because I haven't got a tripod, and then we'll pull it all apart. One moment. Okay, so this track rod end is now loose. We take that off, The gaiter needs to come off. Front ones on these are shot. I have actually bought some more gaiters and I've got enough spare ones. So that one comes off. Nut off if you've taken it off. Otherwise it comes off with that. And that is there. Now I'm going to have to do the same at this end, but I don't need to do it to take it apart. So with this out of the way, this I'm going to just slide out because this is a solid tube. There's no cutout in there, and that leaves you with the suspension cylinder removed. And now you can remove the nuts and the bump stop rubber. So I need to do the same at this end, and then I can put it away, clean it up and move it on. I have to say the welding on this end is a bit rough, so I do have to wonder whether somebody's taken the end off this before. Maybe it's just some dodgy welding from the Citroen factory, but somehow I don't think so. Anyway, so there you go. One suspension cylinder, spring at each end, just like the monoshock on the back end of a bike. It's compressed by pulling these rods, and that's really all there is to it. This system works in a way that it sort of interconnects because they're both in one cylinder, and the effect you get is that the whole car will move when one wheel moves. It gives it additional ground clearance when going over bumps. Anyway, so that's that. Time to move on.